G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talks Stuff. And today we're talking about the boogeyman for many, feminism. Now the sentiment that feminism has many women feeling betrayed largely stems from the unrealistic expectations thrust upon them by other women. The unrealistic lifestyle portrayed in magazines, despite many knowing it's unrealistic, still seems to tug at the hearts of many and inspire envy and wanting things they know are overpriced luxuries. Now, one of the reasons why these high-quality items are overpriced itself is greed. But it is also an economic reality that there are some products, there are more people than available resources. So those with the desirable styles, brands, and resources charge well above their value. But the luxury goods item market, of course, is a diminishing market. At the beginning, when there's lots of people, lots of money, the luxury goods flow. But once the market starts to fill up, and if these prices aren't short-lived, if these products aren't short-lived, but eventually people just stop wanting them because people are sacrificing wealth instead of focusing on self. The idea that you can have it all is sold not directly, but indirectly to us by portraying lifestyles that do not exist, to portray the red carpet, Instagram, glossy magazines, movies. And so is it any wonder that women, more than men, Kathleen Kennedy, I'll give you an example. Kathleen Kennedy was looking at the demographic shift in America, and she wanted to shift Star Wars with it to appeal to the largest audience possible. The only thing is, women feeling betrayed by the demand of society, which comes from feminism, right? Women don't listen to men in large numbers. Okay, these large groups of women don't listen to men. So she made a very grossly negligent miscalculation on how society would react. She was chasing an audience that is feeling under pressure, increasingly decreasing spending, and the luxury goods they desire have nothing to do with Star Wars. But it's not just brands that have nothing to do with women that are suffering. Many female brands are suffering. Even your high-priced menstrual products are suffering as women go for the cheaper options. At the end of the day, whether women like it or not, eventually your biological urges, your child-rearing instincts, and your emotional and systemic realities catch up with you. Now, before we all talk about that, of course, a little reminder that you are my sponsor, that I rely on my viewing audience for support. Increasingly, I want to give something in return. Instead of just begging you for money, I will sell you a product. But of course, you could join my Patreon and support. Get to support my art. Well, I commission art, but get to support my. I am an artist. I do write books. An expensive hobby at that. But yes, you can also buy my books. Empire Valves, that's one word. EmpireValves.myshopify.com. Your one-stop shop for enchanting treasures and artifacts based on my writing. Now, it's fair to say that feminism is dying a slow death. The feminist promise has failed women. The promise fell short. The myth that you could pursue a high-powered career, well, for many, those careers don't exist. They don't have the qualifications, or there's just far too many women. There's only how many corporations are there? 2, 3, 4,000 globally, maybe 10, stretching it. So millions of women aren't going to be on the boards of companies. They're not going to be advertising executives. More and more people are not even hiring, and you look at gig jobs. For every gig job, there's a dozen. And ride sharing, I think now for every order, there's 43 riders. 43 riders for every job. This is an unsustainable economy. There are people sitting around in a very cutthroat industry. Now, everyone keeps saying traditional male structured work environments. Yeah. Structured work environments are a product of thousands of years of human behavior. Why do they favor males? Because it's highly competitive. But don't tell me women aren't competitive. But men outperform women in many fields. And they keep complaining that women bear the majority of domestic and caregiving duties to exhaustion. Well, that's because you can't have two jobs. Most men can't have two jobs. I'm sorry to say this. Men come home exhausted from work. Yet, single men, millions of single men, are not complaining on TikTok every day how they got to do the housework. Why? Because we know what a lark it is. Many men only do half an hour to an hour a week, and women just can't stand it because they're obsessed, obsessively cleaning. They work themselves to exhaustion. And the thing is, why they come home and feel that there is no gratitude is because they're coming home to a cat that just only wants food off you. You don't take care of your needs. If you want praise, get married. But don't put a high price on it. True. Now, the have it all myth is not the only problem. Homemaking. Modern feminism stigmatized stay at home, prioritizing work over family. They frame traditional homemaking as a trap, as regressive, as patriarchy. But more and more women found it deeply fulfilling. cleaning, cooking, laying out elaborate meals, and actually feeling the only gratitude is they come home every day to you, wrap their arms around you, and that once a week nookie is satisfying because you haven't worn out every part of your body or obsessed with toys and other pleasures in life. Those who won't... See, life is hard. You hit the ground running and the years keep coming, and if you do not act within that short period of youth, you miss the boat. But by devaluating homemaking, women took... See, I've talked this so many times. Women's sexually aggressive. The reason why the feminists devalue homemaking is if I can't have it, you can't have it. If I'm not happy, you're not happy. Feminism is a hate cult. It is a miserable existence. And more women are waking up to the fact that UN for Women, the Greens, the Communists, they're only pandering to women because they want you to give them power. It's got nothing to do with your empowerment. You are just an individual in a crowd whose voice won't be heard, and the matriarchy will jiggle the crowd, right? Work the group to push back unless you conform. So it's a hate cult of conformity. Now, the cost of corporate equality, you can't keep up. Women are having heart attacks just like men. They've traded family life for work life and they end up with the same place as most men. Retired, with a gold watch, no family, and no idea what to do with yourself. And often women retire early because they have to because they've just had their third heart attack. So they have no life, no community connection. They're not independently financially wealthy. The majority of retirees find that their retirement funds didn't keep up with inflation like everyone else. They end up on a pension. Or worse. Many feeling isolated in their middle and old age. I don't need to spell it out what miserable people do to themselves. And yet they do it to themselves, knowing now what's awaiting them. They think the good times. They think, I'm going to be... I've heard it. Physically heard women say in their youth, it won't matter now. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But when they get to old age and when they finally figured out life, it's too late. They got nothing to look back on. Those parties, they're all a blur. One party's the same as the other, so the brain don't keep that many memories of good times, right? Because it's got nothing. Because good times don't contribute to your survival. Your brain box exists for your survival, not for your entertainment. That's why so many people don't read books. That's why people like nostalgic... that's why people buy that's why people buy nostalgic trinkets. Gosh, it took me hard. Sorry, I rarely it. Primarily, it's a result of breathing. I was a heavy smoker in my youth, and I run out of air quickly, and I started because I start to need to breathe. I'm not able to pace myself properly either. All part of the learning process. When I calm down, when I get in the flow, my voice does change, my volume is more regulated. The cost of corporate equality is no equality. You're equally miserable as all those old retirees who are sitting on the work at the park on their way to, obviously they used to cross through that park on their way to work, and they probably used to see the old men in the park. Now it's all the junkies, you know. You end up like Michael Douglas in Fallen Down, right? You're whining. You're afraid of everything. I'm afraid of what he's going to do. And then the big bad policeman goes, I'll protect you, ma'am. Come here and give the sheriff a kiss. You know, women do not understand the misery they inflict is a self-inflicted wound. The misery they suffer is so easy to avoid. Start equality and equity. Start there. Ditching those two fantasies and fallacies because you're ignoring biological reality. Common critique of men is we don't get women. The fact is we do. It's easy. We get very wise very quickly to the ways of women in high school. And we say nasty things about you because that's how you act. A common critique of feminism, however, is feminists treat men and women as equally interchangeable. Well, I see very few women able to change a tyre without assistance. Women have a unique biology and a unique physiology that's geared towards motherhood, not towards work. Women are short-term gatherers. They get up, they go to the shop, they get what they need, and they go home. That is their biology. Their biology is not to roam the fields for hours, looking for a squirrel, looking for weeds, looking for snakes, looking for rats, looking for predators, looking for food. No, that hunter-gatherer is just, men can sometimes walk for days. Women, that's why women's marathons are shorter. Women's tennis matches are shorter. Women, they took the world #1 player once she was beat by a lowly ranked man, like 232 or something. And that was in a 3-set. In a 5-set, she couldn't keep up at all. She was wasted. Women make unavoidable life sacrifices to stay in the workforce, and that's why, not just in the West, China now has the lowest birth rate in the world. Korea, with its desperate pursuit of wealth. Ultimately, this is why so many Koreans go to America, not for the wealth, but to get out of the rat race of being in South Korea. Because everybody's so desperate to get ahead. Because women are so materialistic. You think white women be crazy? Oh! Now, in an ongoing cultural dialogue, there's going to be pushback. There's going to be women who downvote my video. There's going to be women who say nasty things in the comments, and they won't get counted, and YouTube often deletes them. But feminists, as a primary movement, is not about securing economic independence, legal protections, or basic rights for women. Feminism, at its fundamental core, is a political movement for a few to benefit from in a hierarchical system where the queens say jump and their acolytes make sure you pay for the privilege of madam to put her high heel to your neck, whether it be Madonna, Kamala Harris. They all raise millions of dollars while men struggle to sell a cup. That is the power of hive mind, of indoctrination for decades. Women are fleeced daily for money by feminists. You always wonder why women go on TikTok to whine, because it's almost at the point where women are brainwashed to give. They're like, look at some of these GoFundMes. How many? Mine failed. I'm still in debt. I'm slowly paying it off. But that's the reality. There is no sympathy for a man. All the social, the primary social drivers, men, are put to the back of the bus every time. Out of mind, out of sight. That's what feminism wants. You know, you're the plumber, you're the plumber, you're the sex toy, you're the carpenter, you're the factory worker, but you're not the manager. No positions of power in feminism, right? You look at it. Yet, behind the scenes, women UN headquarters. Yeah. Feminism is a political tool of oppression and all for the benefit of a few like Jane Fonda, who become multimillionaires, have families. She doesn't have one, she's had 4 families in her lifetime. While you, the majority of women out there, don't even get to have one family. It's fractured every time. Their fanaticism is to destroy you, to build they believe, honestly, the only way they can elevate is to push someone else down. And boy, do they take pride in doing so. And while me and many other people try to lift others up, so many don't want to listen. And that is a sad reality. Most people won't make it this far. But for those who do, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video. A like costs nothing, you know. Bye for now.